There are 5 types of clutter in our life that, if we simplified, our health would improve. So stay tuned and learn about these 5 areas and how they may be affecting you. Welcome. I'm Maria, and if you're feeling overwhelmed and burdened and would like tips about simple living for a healthy life, then spend some time with me. By simplifying and decluttering different areas in our lives, we should be able to reduce our stress, find clarity, identify what is important, and then devote time to what we find worth our attention. Remember that clutter is anything that no longer serves a purpose or brings you joy in your life. It is anything that does not support who you are and the life you want. So in no particular order, here are 5 areas that I try to keep uncomplicated and decluttered to help me with my health and overall well-being. First, let's go with the obvious area, and that is physical clutter. I get stressed when there are a lot of things around me, in particular, unnecessary and unorganized things. For me, having all these things means I need to organize, maintain, sort, clean, or fix them. And I think having so many items in my line of sight makes my space feel cluttered and useless. Of course, we need to keep some items out, but I find that when I put most of them away, I feel better because I'm not so distracted. And I feel even better when I can get rid of some things that are not needed. The more things we have, the more we get distracted. For example, in my search to find my sunglasses, I see that the shoes need to be put away. Then as I'm putting the shoes away, I notice that one pair has a hole in it. So now I'm thinking that they need to be replaced. So I decided to research which brand of shoe is good for my plantar fasciitis. An hour later, I found a pair that might work and wanted to go to the store, but I needed my sunglasses. Where were they? What are your thoughts about how physical clutter affects your stress levels? Hit the like button if you have any physical clutter that you need to reduce. Then let us know in the comments below what items you struggle with. And if you have plantar fasciitis and have a favorite brand of shoes, please let me know what it is. This is a new condition for me to deal with, so any help I get would be deeply appreciated. Next area is what I find challenging to tackle because there are so many factors that contribute to it, and that is our mental space. Physical clutter can cause mental clutter, so that's one factor that I just mentioned. And anything that takes space in our mind includes our to-do lists, our schedules, work, commitments, our responsibilities, anything we put into our minds, such as information, news, and whatever else that requires us to think. It's a blessing and a curse to have information so readily available, or just going through my email adds so much to my mental load. Seeing the news alone is enough to drive me crazy. Then I see several emails that need a reply. And why did I subscribe to all these different newsletters? So as you can see, when we have a lot to do and think about, our mental clutter can easily deter and distract us from our goals and getting important things done. How can we conquer mental clutter to reduce stress? I'll be making future videos on this topic because I think that conquering mental clutter will help us in many ways. The third area to tackle is emotional clutter. What is emotional clutter? Anything that weighs us down emotionally would fall under this category. These can be negative thoughts that we have about ourselves, our circumstances, our lives, and others. Examples include negative self-talk, fear, toxic relationships, burdens we feel, grudges, and unresolved issues that weigh heavy on our heart and mind. Also, negative emotions that we may feel, such as bitterness, anger, guilt, disappointment, and resentment, can impact our health. Emotional clutter can affect our mental health because it clouds our thoughts and affects our ability to make decisions, focus, and unwind. Unresolved emotional clutter can also increase depression, anxiety, and affect our quality of sleep. Feelings of stress, being overwhelmed, and burnt out are signs of emotional clutter. Many different things can contribute to this, such as our never-ending to-do lists at work and at home, relationship conflicts, and changes in our life. The important thing is to identify what is causing our emotional clutter and to figure out how to deal with it. A lot of times it involves changing our perspective, or we may need to set boundaries or to forgive others and reconcile when it comes to relationships. Or maybe we need to take small steps to resolve or alleviate the burden. Just like decluttering the garage all at once may be too much, sometimes trying to resolve a burden that is causing a lot of stress will take time. Having my mom move in with me and my husband has definitely added to my emotional clutter, since now our family dynamics have changed. And even though my mom is mostly easygoing, being her full-time caregiver is not always easy. First, I had to establish a new routine at home. Then I started asking family members for help. I have set up my own boundaries and know that if her needs ever exceed these limits, then I will be seeking higher levels of care. So it's important to be aware of how you are feeling and learn how to take care of emotions that may be affecting you in negative ways. Are you feeling any emotional clutter? Hit the like button if you need to work on this area. If you have anything you would like to share that is causing emotional clutter, feel free to share in the comments below and let's help each other. Sometimes just sharing with others helps you ease the load. I joined a support group for caregivers of family members, and just being able to talk with others in the same situation helps, even though we can't solve one another's burdens. There's so much more to be said about this area, so let me know in the comment section if you would like future videos about this topic of dealing with emotional clutter. The fourth area that can be simplified is social clutter, which is anything that prevents you from focusing on the important relationships in your life. This area of clutter can be the friends that you no longer have anything in common with, or ones that drain you for whatever reason and are taking up space on your social media feeds. Or social clutter can look like FOMO, or unnecessary comparisons. I learned about FOMO, the fear of missing out, from my kids in their teenage years, where they did things with friends or acquaintances, not because they really wanted to, but because they didn't want to miss out on things. At my age, I don't really care so much about missing out on things. Also, my mostly introverted nature keeps me content doing my own thing. So this is an area where you need to take a long, hard look at the people in your life and decide who are the most important and want to invest most of your time, and those who you don't. And one thing I learned over the years when friendships drift apart is not that I have anything against that person, but that our lives have taken different paths. And that's okay. And there are some friendships that drift apart for a season, and then you reunite and find new bonds, which then deepens that friendship. In terms of comparison, I remember a quote that says, "Comparison is the thief of joy." So instead of letting someone else's highlights shape your image, focus on your own highlights and find things to be grateful about. And the final area I want to discuss is our spiritual life. Anything that hinders us from developing and growing our faith would be spiritual clutter. So all the areas that I already mentioned can play a role in spiritual clutter. Everyone's spiritual life is going to look different, but our faith needs attention to grow and develop. Maybe clutter will prevent us from thinking about the deeper issues in our lives and how faith can play a role. Or sometimes being busy with religious rituals or habits can also hinder us from developing our faith. I know that doesn't sound quite right, but for those of you who consider yourself spiritual, have you ever done things out of habit or religious tradition, but these actions mean nothing to you? I know I did. Going to church as a child meant little to me, except that it was something our family did every Sunday morning. So I stopped for a period in college. Then I learned more and figured out who God meant to me, and now I choose to go to church and take actions that help me learn more about God and to grow my relationship with Him. So, which of these areas do you struggle with the most? Are there other areas of clutter that also affect you? Please let me know in the comments below. Choosing a simple life where we need less things, manage our time better, or focus and think clearly will reduce stress. Stay tuned for future videos about how you can specifically declutter in each of these areas. So remember to subscribe so you don't miss anything. Remember to stay healthy and live simply. If you would like to learn about some ways to de-stress, watch this video next. See you over there.